Support for this episode comes from Signature Bank.
Hey, this is Gary Head, founder and chairman at Signature Bank of Arkansas. 21 years ago, we set out to build a community bank that knows your name, values relationships, and treats people how they deserve. That's still how we do things today. Whether you're buying a home, growing a business, planning for what's next with Signature Private Wealth Management, or need bilingual banking through Banco C, our team is here to help with local decisions and real relationships you can count on. Call 479-684-3700 or visit signature.bank and tell us you heard about us on I Am Northwest Arkansas.
Hey folks, and welcome back to the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast, the show where we uncover the stories of the entrepreneurs, creatives, and community builders shaping our region. I'm your host, Randy Wilburn, and today we are turning the volume way up. We talk a lot on this show about the explosion of the arts and music scene here in Northwest Arkansas, but we don't always ask who is making sure the people driving that culture are actually represented behind the scenes. Enter Robyn Jordan. Robyn is a DJ, a cultural facilitator, and the visionary founder behind HerSetHerSound. To give you an idea of her impact, in 2025 alone, her platform secured 188 bookings, amplified over 55 artists, and injected more than 102,000 directly back into the pockets of local creatives. She isn't just throwing events, she is building an entire ecosystem that empowers women and people of the global majority to take their rightful place in the music industry, both on and off the stage. So whether you're a music lover, a creative, or just someone who cares about the economic growth of our local culture, you're going to want to hear this episode. We're going to hear from Robyn right after this.
It's time for another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, the podcast covering the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life in general here in the Ozarks. Whether you are considering a move to this area or trying to learn more about the place you call home, we've got something special for you. Here's our host, Randy Wilburn.
Robyn Jordan, welcome to the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. After that intro, I mean, you need to be introducing me every single time wherever I am. Yes, sir. I'm blessed.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's like, I don't know if you ever remember I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. And there's that scene where every time the guy comes out, there's somebody behind him with a boombox playing his superhero music.
I like that.
So it's like, you just got to have your walk-up music, you know? So
just give me this after and I'll make sure.
Right.
Done.
So no, absolutely. So listen, I want to, first of all, this was a long time coming. We acknowledged that before we started recording. You've been somebody that I've seen in the community. Of course, our paths cross in so many different ways. We have a lot of mutual friends. We attend a lot of the same events. And so I'm really excited. I really, and we've kind of highlighted some of at a really high level, some of the impact that you're making in our community. But first I want to ask you, I've got this icebreaker question for you. What was the first album or track that made you fall in love with music?
Whoa.
I threw that little curveball for you. Yeah, and I am making you not commit to something that everybody's going to hold you to, but I would love to know, because I have a song that I remember hearing that just blew my mind, and I was just like, wow.
Why you doing me like this? Okay. Now, this is going to be crazy. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. So I was born in 92, and I was 5 years old. And My Way by Usher came out.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. I remember going to my school, Sunshine School. It was like a Christian school. People were bad. We were bad.
Right.
But I remember going to school and they would play Nice and Slow.
Okay.
And I don't know why. I mean, it was Usher, the way they positioned him and our child, and like just the music industry. I mean, a 5-year-old me had no choice but to love Usher.
Right.
I remember being in the back talking about, I'll freak you right, I will. My mama look back and be like, hey, no, you don't say that.
Right.
But honestly, I feel like Usher, because Usher ended up being like the first concert I went to when I was in middle school.
Okay.
I want to say it was My Way by Usher. And honestly, as I'm saying that out loud, because I like My Way, that's probably why. At 5 years old, I was probably like, you know what? I'm going to have my way.
He was planting a seed a long time ago.
That.
Yes.
He did that. Yep. Nice and slow. Ooh.
Yeah. It's so funny. My cousin went to his residency in Las Vegas. She said it was amazing.
I'm sure.
She said it was, I mean, he is a true showman.
Yes.
You know, he spent some time with Michael Jackson, and Michael, you know, kind of gave him a lot.
Yes.
And that's the thing that a lot of people don't know about Michael Jackson. I didn't even know this either, but he spent a lot of time with a lot of these artists that are now quite seasoned in the industry and have been around. You're like, why is that person such a great showman? Well, they got lessons from one of the best.
Yes.
And so I always thought that's an aside. I thought that was interesting. But yes, to anyone, and I think that residency, he kind of has it and then it goes away and then he brings it back again. But I've been told that residency is must-see music in Las Vegas.
It's funny you say that because I'm a fan. I'm an enthusiast when it comes to performance.
Yeah.
The artists that I love most are performers. I love like Michael Jackson, Chris Brown. Look, sorry, y'all. I said it. I know, but we have to be able to like take the good and the bad.
Yes.
A good performer is a good performer. Beyonce, like I've always been attracted to a person who can perform with more than just their voice. They have a presence. They have a brilliance that I appreciate. And Usher, it's not a surprise. And I think something else that you just tapped on, mentorship is vital when it comes to a person's development. To be around someone who has been through the experiences, who has had the opportunities that you want. There's something very special about being around that, and then also being able to, you know, take the lessons of what someone is pouring into you and put it back into your craft. So yeah, Usher might be getting some slack. He may have gotten some slack. You know, I would eat a strawberry from him. I would, respectfully. So sorry. I'm not sorry.
It's all good.
But respectfully,
yes,
I would.
I understand. I understand.
I'll be a superstar.
So
only in Las Vegas. Only in Vegas.
Only in Vegas. Right. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So, all right. I want to kind of back up a little bit because I do want to give our audience a little bit about your background. How did you first get involved in the music scene, and what drew you to DJing and event curation?
Are you saying the music scene in Northwest Arkansas?
Yeah. Because
all right, Randy, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, I'm a party girl.
Okay.
I've always been a party girl. I grew up loving music. Actually, something else. My dad DJ'd growing up. And so I've always grown up around cases of CDs, records, crates. I've always danced. I've always been in some sort of choir, some sort of theater. I love musicals. And so music and rhythm has always been in me. It's always been something that's come easy to me. And I think in 2020, when COVID was happening, at the time I had graduated from the University of Arkansas 3 years. I had been graduated. And at the time I had my journalism degree with an emphasis on advertising and public relations. And I'll be honest, I did not see the opportunities for me to even be in the music industry. I didn't even I don't think I can say I had the desire to be in the music industry. I'm from St. Louis, and I've noticed in the Midwest and in places like in Arkansas where the music industry is underdeveloped compared to more developed cities like Atlanta, New York, and LA. I didn't think that was something that would make me money. I was like, okay, this is a hobby. I'm going to pursue business. That's what I pursued originally. I was like, okay, I'm not cut out in the way that I thought I would be. So I'm going to switch it. I'm going to finish strong. And when 2020 came around and we were all inside the house, I was just like, at the time I was a leasing and marketing manager at a student housing company. And I just felt like there was something more purposeful for me to be doing. I'll never forget, and I always shout out Nikita Reed, who was my former professor at the University of Arkansas. She taught me in African Americans and documentary film. And at the time, she had came out with a platform called Arkansas Soul, which is to amplify Black and brown voices in Arkansas. So she reached out to me and was like, hey, I need some pitches. I'm trying to pay some writers to help me build this platform. What you got? And I remember sending her 5 pitches. And one of the pitches that I sent was on female DJs in Northwest Arkansas. And she liked it.
Yeah.
And so I, at the time, my partner, and I knew a couple other DJs who were women who DJ'd here. But then as I asked around about like, who do we need to amplify? Who do we need to highlight? I ended up talking to 7 of the DJs and listening to them. And I would say this is one of my gifts, is that I can always see when there's an opportunity or a missed opportunity. And at the time, these DJs were aware of one another, but they weren't really connected. They didn't do events with one another. Mm-hmm. It was just like marginalized, like siloed.
Yeah.
And so I, at the time, was it, like I said at the beginning, party girl. I'm attending not all of them, but I'm attending quite a few parties. Mm-hmm. And I'm always by the DJ. Like, I'm the girl that I wouldn't want in the room. Like, hey, DJ, can you play this? Can you play this? That used to... Shout out to DJ Derek, because I used to do him like that at Grubs all the time. And now, like, years later, I'm like, don't ask me for a request. But I was just noticing that the same DJs were getting the shine.
Yeah.
And I knew April at Prairie Street at the time, and things just started to click. I remember interviewing them and being like, if I hosted something, if I like put you all in the same room, would you like, what do you think about that? And I got really great feedback. And so it honestly just happened organically, where I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw an event. I'm just going to see what happens. I'm going to get these DJs the shine that they need. I'm going to create these photo shoots. I'm going to go on a press run. I'm going to get some partners and some vendors, and I'm going to give Prairie Street Live a run.
Yeah.
And we had over 400 people show up at our first festival. And when I saw the numbers, I saw the people, I saw the ticket sales, I was like, oh, this is a business. I said, okay, now I see what's going on. Now I got my little taste. I'm about it. Now, at the time, I had people coming at me wanting to coordinate like different festivals. I had someone, shout out to All Bikes Welcome. They asked me to curate and coordinate their biking festival. I don't know nothing about mountain biking. I didn't know nothing. But I realized that people were seeing me as a coordinator.
Yeah.
And the more, like, year after year, the more I've refined and, interrogated, what do I enjoy? What feels good? What comes natural? The more I realize that I want to make my mark in the music industry. The more I realize that I'm not just curating a festival, I'm curating music programming, I'm booking artists, I'm helping artists develop, I'm helping DJs develop. And from there, I think that was the start. That was like, all right, well, we're going to incorporate HerSetHerSound, because at first it was the festival.
Yeah.
And then when people started reaching out about bookings, I was like, okay, you're not getting the festival when you book through me, but I can at least give these opportunities to these artists and these DJs that I've met. And so, again, seeing the numbers and having like part creative mind, part business mind, I'm like, I told myself I can do this.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing it.
So does it feel like, and I'm going to use this expression, does it feel like an accidental field of dreams? Like if you build it, they will come? Or does it feel like something that was really, really intentional for you in terms of how HerSetHerSound has evolved over the years? Because I remember that first year.
Yeah.
And because we were all cooped up in the house, people didn't, and you had this event outdoors and it was like, yeah, let's do this. Yeah. And I remember, I can still see it in my head. And I remember my wife and I came and we were like, oh, okay, cool. And it was like, oh, this is nice to be out here. And I told you, I went to Howard, so, I know a good party when I see one, right? You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to tell me twice. And if the DJ's spinning right, it's on and popping no matter what.
They're the heartbeat of the music industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but was it, did you feel like it was a field of dreams of sorts for you, or was it just was an evolutionary thing?
I think it was both. I think that when I came here, when I started HerSetHerSound, I didn't say I was starting an entertainment company.
Okay.
It was more of an intentional experience to highlight these players, these participants, these stakeholders who deserve it, quite frankly. I think that, you know, when I think about my dad DJing, when I think about how I've always had music and rhythm in my proximity as a proclivity, like part of me can't say it was an accident. I can tell you I didn't see it coming.
Sure.
I can tell you, I don't know if I planned for this because I grew up watching VH1 and MTV. Mm-hmm. I used to be obsessed with Driven, hearing the stories about artists. I used to be obsessed with making the band or making the video, even making the band.
And behind the music.
Oh my gosh. You know, like it was, because I am, and I think also it's kind of divine, like getting my journalism degree was not what I planned to do.
Sure.
I said, every business needs marketing.
Yep. I'm
trying to get Oprah money. So I'm going to go after marketing.
Right.
And then I got like accounting and finance thrown at me. I said, what is this? Yeah. I don't know what this is. Let's go to journalism.
Right.
Switch my major the fourth year in. And I bring that up because storytelling, journalism has always been something that I've loved.
Sure.
And when I think about the beginning of HerSetHerSound coming from an article, that doesn't feel like an accident. That feels like divine alignment that was orchestrated beyond my human experience that caused something special to happen. But look, like you said, I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming because I told you I didn't pursue music thinking about how, not even underdeveloped, but in some ways there's like resistance. You know, if I remember years ago, I had a lot of friends who were like rappers. And the way that our society is set up is to look at them and be like, what are you doing?
Right.
You need a real job.
Yeah.
But then in 2026, I'm listening to the music that's on the commercials. I'm listening to what the anchors are saying on the news. I'm seeing what's on social media. Rappers and musicians have everything to do with the language that we're hearing and the visuals that we're seeing.
100%.
And so I think it was by design. I don't think it was an accident for me to think that I wasn't going to be able to do anything in the music industry in Arkansas or in the Midwest or Heartland, whatever you want to call this, the South.
Right.
I didn't think that was possible. And I think after that first festival, I was like, okay, like this is just on a local scale. Let me say this clearly. I ain't got the money to be paying for the A-listers yet.
Yes.
But
it's coming.
You know, thank you. It's here.
It's
right
here.
now.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, to see what happened on a local standpoint, I know there were a lot of nuances that contributed to the success. Like you said, people were ready to be outside. There was really nothing or not as much programming that we see in 2026 that was happening in 2021.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that was something that really impressed me to believe that even in Northwest Arkansas, there's room for growth in this industry. So, yeah. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I like that because it definitely, if nothing else, one of the things that speaks to me is that, you know, anything's possible if you really put your mind to it. But even in Arkansas, in Northwest Arkansas, as much as we are experiencing a level of what I would just call unfettered growth, that there's still room for something new. When I moved here in 2014, at the end of 2014 into 2015, there was nothing like HerSetHerSound happening here. And it's almost like every year has been like, you know, the peel of an onion or something where something new has been revealed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I've enjoyed in terms of being here in Northwest Arkansas, as new opportunities have been presented to me, as new experiences.
Yeah.
It took till 2020 for me to have the HerSetHerSound experience here in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I had seen female DJs around the country. I lived out in the Bay Area. I was down in LA all the time. Yeah. There's some amazing female DJs all around the country. People think, oh my God, this is like a new thing. I'm like, no, it's not. It's been around for a long time. And I'm just a quick humble brag. And I don't know if I'm going to impress you or not with this, but my great aunt, my grandfather's sister, her name was Mary D. Mary D was the first Black female disc jockey in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And she had a radio show with my grandfather. They were the first Black brother-sister radio show in the nation. And Mary D was a well-known DJ in Pittsburgh. And so anybody that would come to town, I mean, Billy Eckstine was from Pittsburgh, but Cab Calloway, you name it, any musical artist that would come would always come to see Mary D. And then her son and her grandson both cut their teeth in the record business with Atlantic Records.
Wow. So
going way back. But I mean, so there have been female DJs for quite some time.
Yes.
It's just that people don't know about it.
Yeah. I'm impressed, Randy. It's in your blood. So it's like more I learn about you, I'm like, dang, Randy, you an icon out here. No, I think to your point, and this is why I believe it is important for HerSetHerSound to exist, because people don't know that female DJs have always existed. You make me think about Diana Williams, the reason why a contributor to ensuring that National Black Music Month was legalized.
Yeah.
She was a DJ.
Yep.
And there's something very special about amplifying, whether you're amplifying people's stories, amplifying people's work, amplifying people's music. DJs, and even when we think about radio, some people think that like radio is a dying industry.
Yeah.
And I have a friend, shout out to Sedman, who always brings up like Dave Chappelle going on this run that's talking about how radio it connects you to the locals. It connects you to, it does so much still that is just kind of maybe undervalued, but shout out to Mary D. I don't know if is she still alive?
Oh no, she passed away in the 60s, but yeah, but her legacy lives on, and I'll have to share some information with you after the fact. But yeah, she was, like I said, I only say that to say that, I don't want anybody to think that this is a new thing. This has been going on for a while, right?
Absolutely.
It's just like, I think it's just important for people to know, because sometimes we see things, especially as African Americans, and we're like, oh my, nobody's ever done that before. And I'm like, no, it's been happening for quite some time.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's just important to know, but from a historical perspective, I think it's important for anybody to know that, that's in that there's been a lot of successful female DJs in the atmosphere for a long time.
Yeah. We got to give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm just going to humbly say this. The reason why I started HerSetHerSound is because I knew that these DJs existed. Some of the DJs I've worked with have been DJing for 10 years.
Yeah.
And yet after being on our platform, have experienced the most success that they've had because of that amplification and because of that advocacy. I think it's one thing to have the skills. It's another thing to have the opportunities. It's another thing to have the trust to be able to build with partners, other artists, other brands. And so, I enjoy working with DJs and entertainers, and I also enjoy orchestrating and coordinating and managing and leading, because I'm sure you know this, the biggest wage gap in any industry is in the creative industry.
Sure. Yeah.
And it is so often where musicians and artists want to give and they want to contribute and they want to show, and yet they are undervalued or discounted, undermined. And then you can see that same thing, years later or on a big screen, and then that person will be like, oh, is this new? And to an extent, that's, a beautiful thing, because that means that whatever that thing is, it is expanding to new eyes. It's changing perspectives. But I think also going back to your point and recognizing and giving credit where it's due. I want to give a shout out to DJ Sewell, who before I had HerSetHerSound, he had a women's in music event at a club it was called Club Lush or Club Rush. We've had all types of clubs out here. And I remember coming to his event, and I came because one, I wanted to support women artists, and he had a bunch of women artists, a lot of them, or at least a couple of them that I still work with. But I remember looking around and I was like, okay, it's a man on the mic. That's cool. Okay. The DJ only played for 45 minutes. That's cool. But women in music, I want to see women in music.
Yeah.
At the time, I have respect for Darren. I'm at KISS 105.3 now. I have respect for the promoters who have been doing the work before I did, because it's because of them that I'm able to believe in myself and I'm able to develop what I have. I saw opportunities for engaging with more women at his event. And so in creating HerSetHerSound, I want people to recognize that it's not just about the amplification or the advocacy on the stage. It's about what's happening behind the stage and behind the scenes. And so yes, there are female DJs, but there are female festival organizers. There are female managers. There are female A&R artists. And there has been barriers designed to keep the very people who are taking care of our culture, who are nurturing our culture. It's been designed to keep us out of leadership, keep us out of senior suite or C-suite roles. And so...
And I'm glad that was kind of my thing, because getting into the mission and filling the gap that you feel like you're filling in this space. Can you maybe just talk a little bit about how HerSetHerSound acts as an advocate for creatives who are often left out of the conversations?
Yeah. You know, a lot of times it comes down to having the opportunity to have the conversation or putting myself out there to have the conversation.
Yeah.
A lot of opportunities that I've received, I'll give an example. Last year, we opened for Glorilla. That opportunity came up because I said, hey, Glorilla has an audience that speaks to her.
That was at the Momentary, right? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
One of the best shows that we had, and honestly why several people know us, is because of that show. And that happened because I just had audacity. I was brave enough, and at that time, I had a couple connections there, and I said, look, this makes sense for us. The audience is similar. We have acts and artists that complement Glorilla. Let's do this. I've had opportunities where, you know, I'll give you another example. It's all Crystal Bridges and Momentary. But Crystal Bridges was throwing their WOW series earlier this year, and they were wanting to talk about music.
Yep.
And I noticed on the panel, it was all men. I said, what about the women? It's a simple interjection with a question that a person is allowed to interrogate themselves or to ignore.
Yeah.
And so that's simply how it happens. When there are opportunities that I see that are in alignment or may be just inquired upon, as I said earlier, I like to give credit where it's due. I love to ensure that there's a holistic perspective when it comes to our music industry, especially when it comes to our innovators and our key contributors. And I think that, a lot of things start with being brave enough to voice and tell the truth about, hey, is the man's perspective the only perspective that matters in music? I mean, when we think about hip hop, Sylvia Robinson played a huge role in commercializing hip hop.
Yeah.
When we think about rock, Sister Rosetta Tharpe was the one who innovated the electric guitar. When we think about blues, Mamie Smith was the first blues musician, female, male or not. She was the first blues musician to be on wax. And yet we forget, fast forward, we think that women are just an accessory in this industry.
Right.
I'm not saying because my first thought was I don't have time for that. But I think I have a duty to say, hey, this is the truth. This is what we inherited. Mm-hmm. This is our history. Yeah. And either you're going to acknowledge it or you're not going to acknowledge it. But I also have to take responsibility and say, hey, did you think about this? Yeah. And sometimes it's tough. Sometimes people are like, why are you trying to do this? And I'm like, well, the history, the inheritance. Or, you're asking for too. Well, we kind of what's the word? Credits is overdue. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It comes down, and, even spiritual, life and death lies in the power of the tongue. Mm-hmm. I use my tongue to inspire. Yeah. And, I do what I can with from there.
So I want to add on to that where you've gone with this conversation in terms of the vibe that you've been working to advocate for and create. You said you want people to leave your events feeling connected, bold.
Yeah.
I love this word, unapologetic.
Yeah.
How do you, Robyn, intentionally curate spaces that allow people to come as they are? And here's my reflection on going to that first HerSetHerSound. There were people from all walks of life there. Yeah. There was a lot of different people. Yeah. There were people that didn't look like me. And there were people that looked like me. Mm-hmm. And what I was impressed with was that everybody was kind of coalescing together. Of course, around the music, right? Because music is a unifier. It is not a divider.
Yes.
Make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, how have you answered that?
Hospitality is a value of mine. Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure that artists feel well served, that vendors feel well served, that production feels well served, and that we set a standard for that to be reciprocated. A lot of times it comes down to who's in the room. And those people, and I do my best to select stakeholders, to select artists and vendors who represent intersectionality, who are hospitable, who represent those same qualities of being unapologetic. I look for authenticity. I really do. I look for a genuine connection. And I think oftentimes when you pick the right people, the vibe it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
There are things that we say, what's not allowed, racism, sexism, homophobia, just anything that has to do with discriminating, abusing, or harassing others. We're very loud about that not being allowed. Misogynoir, especially, is not allowed at HerSetHerSound. And I think when those boundaries are set and when we're clear about what we're going to allow and not allow, I think that does develop trust. I think that sets a precedent as to what you feel or what to expect in that space. And I think that no one can guarantee safety. I can't guarantee that everything's going to go 100%.
Sure.
But I can at least say, I said it, I meant it, and I'm doing what I can to ensure that the space feels that way. I don't think there's anything there's not one thing that I do. I mean, I do sage the grounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, gotta release the energy, bless the energy. I do pray a lot as well. I think praying and affirming does speak life into people and it speaks life into a space. So I'm very, to an extent, I'm intentional about what I intend and being transparent as I can be with the stakeholders involved. I think transparency builds trust.
Yeah.
And we've done a great job at that. And again, still having hospitality in the mix, you can't help but to feel connected when someone is hospitable towards you.
Absolutely.
You can't help but to feel like you can be yourself when someone's telling you, hey, be yourself. Now, don't go harassing anybody.
Yeah.
Don't go, thinking that consent isn't valuable over here because it totally is. But be yourself if you're not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
I think, just by saying it over and over again and believing it over and over again, that is what contributes to the vibe at HerSetHerSound.
Okay. All right. Now, because of that vibe that you have created, you've had the intended effect of creating some economic empowerment in our community. Mm-hmm. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, and again, I just want to give you your flowers because I think it's great to be able to hear what you've done. And I want to repeat it again. In 2025, you shared that you worked with 55 plus artists. You injected $102,000 plus into the creative economy right here in Northwest Arkansas. Mm-hmm. Why is it so important to you to make sure artists are getting paid and supported financially, not just being given exposure? Because sometimes people get invited to things and it's just simply, you should be glad you're on this platform.
Yes.
And, we're not really paying you, but you being here is enough to help carry you on. And I can't eat exposure.
Okay.
It doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste good in a sandwich.
Yes. No. So, can you even taste it?
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
So.
Yeah. I had someone tell me this last year and it changed the way that I think about numbers. I said earlier when I was pursuing my business degree, it was finance and accounting and economics that screwed me up. And I've always been a numbers girl. But something happened when the letters started to come in. I was like, this is just confusing. But I remember taking a class and this facilitator said, numbers tell a story.
Yeah.
And from then on out, I was like, okay, well, let me look at these impact reports. Let me do my budget then. Let me not be afraid of my numbers telling the story of what I want it to be.
Sure.
And so when you look at the numbers, specifically when it comes to the music economy and when it comes to the creative economy, this is $1 billion industry, not just, in...
That's billion with a B.
With a B. And, I'm going to tell you this, Randy, I understand why folks were worried about us being able to read. Because when you read and you're intelligent, some things you can't unread.
Sure.
So when I found out after I had powered HerSetHerSound that Northwest Arkansas was generating over $289 million in the music industry, I said, why are artists starving? Why are artists being paid less than $10,000 annually when this is a there's $289 million. Now, there's breakdowns to this. When you're bringing people like Janet Jackson and TLC, they get a lot of money, and these venues get a lot of money. So there's, it's not just for the artists. But as I said earlier, I know, and it is written, data shows that the biggest wage gap is in the creative industry.
Sure.
Music has so much to do with that. And so, I also feel like, I'll be honest, as a Black woman, I don't feel like I can afford to be saying, hey, I got you on exposure. No. I don't need a reason for somebody to come around and be like, hey, Robyn didn't what? Robyn didn't add value? HerSetHerSound didn't add value? You took that check. You took those materials. You got more bookings after that. Isn't that what we want?
Right.
And so even thinking about, Northwest Arkansas, rent's getting higher.
Mm-hmm.
Eggs was what, $8 not too long ago? Like
gas.
Gas. And then you got these boutique restaurants coming up. So, their meals out here are sometimes more than $100.
Yeah.
Artists who are already adding so much value to our experience deserve to enjoy the things. They deserve to afford the experiences, the products, the services that makes our city and our region special. And so, some of it is ego involved. Some of it is intelligence involved. Some of it is just getting off on paying people.
Yeah.
It
feels good. It feels good.
I've had artists reach out to me struggling, and 48 hours later, I get an inquiry, and that's an $800 check for a couple hours.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that where it warms my heart. It affirms that this means something.
Mm-hmm.
And, it would be different if everything in life was free.
Yeah.
The credit wouldn't matter. The money wouldn't matter if water was free. You know what I'm saying? If capitalism was not present, then I don't think this would matter. But I think because of these wage gaps, because of the disparities, because of the dilution of stories, of history and heritage, and then also, let me also say this, because I like to read, or I, at least like I said earlier, I like knowing people's stories. And one thing that stays on my heart is how Sister Rizzo Tharpe died without a tombstone.
Yeah.
And to think of prolific, trailblazing talent having such an impact in industries and genres and experiences in the world, dying without a tombstone bothers me. It's almost like all that value that you added to the world wasn't enough for you to experience. And I want the people that I work with and who I represent and who I inspire to know that it's worth it, that they're worth it, that they're valuable.
Yeah.
That's another thing, value in some ways is subjective, but the numbers don't lie. The numbers tell a story. And so, I feel really good about being able to pay others. And I'm hoping that the respect for not only entertainers, but again, for organizers like myself, for managers like myself, for facilitators like myself, that craft can be valued just as much. Everybody wants to be entertained, but do you want to work with an organizer for that entertainment, for that production to go seamlessly?
Yeah.
Everybody don't think like that.
Yeah.
But it's important to pay people.
Yeah, that's it. Pay them. We'll repeat that twice.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about 188 bookings last year. And I don't do public math, but 188, that's almost one booking every other day in a year.
Yeah.
Clearly you had to overcome some hurdles to get to that point. Are you amazed that in everything that you've created in these last 4 to 5 years that you're on pace to do that kind of work? And what does that say to you about what you're doing?
Randy, you're so special. I really appreciate you. I really do. It does amaze me. I'm not going to get emotional, but I was telling you earlier, a lot of people, the arts and music in Northwest Arkansas is so absorbed by nonprofits. It's so absorbed by causes and charity that it's sometimes challenging to put a value on it, even though it is valuable. When I see every year that our bookings have increased, that the amount that we've been able to pay out has increased, it's telling the story that that I'm growing and that I'm evolving. And although that comes with its pains and its hardships and it comes with its lessons and really its heartbreak, it's showing me that you can still experience those downfalls and still have success.
Yeah.
I am very grateful of how many opportunities, how many event managers, how many venue managers have reached out just to not only support HerSetHerSound, but knowing that that's what they want in their establishments as well. It's validating. It shows that what we are creating and what we've been creating has always been irresistible. And, you know, for me, I just hope it continues to increase, but I also hope that the maintenance and the capacity to sustain it all increases as well. You know, I am very grateful to be in a relationship where I can do this, this is my full time.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of artists and DJs out here, especially in Northwest Arkansas, this is their part-time job. And so I'll be super transparent. You know, I grew up saying I want 8 streams of income. Mm-hmm. I grew up saying I just want to have 6 figures. And when we generated over 102,000 last year, I was like, dang.
I know.
First of all, this all wasn't in my personal account.
Right.
So I was like, where the money, I need some more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I didn't even, where my 6 figures in my personal account? But I also think when thinking about 289 million being generated in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
And to be less than 1% of that, you know what I'm saying? Like 100,000 compared to that, like it doesn't feel like a lot, but it means a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, we haven't, you know, had like 5 or 6 figure grants yet. We haven't had like any foundational support or really any corporate support. We have organizers and organizations seeing what we're doing and saying, hey, we want some of that.
Sure.
And we want to support you in the midst of that. And so at the same time, our bookings are growing. I am wanting HerSetHerSound as a brand to grow so that people recognize that it's not about just being entertaining. It's about being able to be a good steward over entertainment business, over the music business. And I think that's something that not only just amazes me, but it validates that we're doing good music business. You wouldn't have like, you know, shout out to Indigo Road Hospitality. This year, we've got 5 different residencies with them.
Okay.
4 on a weekly basis, 1 on a monthly basis. That type of frequency and that type of commitment and devotion to HerSetHerSound shows me that music goes beyond the stage, right?
Yeah.
We're in these third spaces, but we're also contributing to more than it's more than just the music business. I read somewhere a couple years ago, for every dollar that is put into the music industry, $1.50 is added to the entire economy.
Sure.
And so that's what I'm thinking about. Even like, you know, these restaurants or these lounges reaching out, it's just like, okay, y'all recognize that this is valuable and that this will contribute or this can contribute to your success. It is amazing. Because I told you earlier, Robyn in 2011 was not coming to Northwest Arkansas for anything music related.
Right.
Like a lot of people here.
It wasn't in the plans.
It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
But then the other part of me is like, well, if you can do it in a space where it is underdeveloped, then what could you do in another space that's underdeveloped?
That's right.
What could you do in a space where it is developed? There are female DJs, but are their experiences powered by women, female, gender diverse people?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. But I'm ambitious, Randy. So I'm like, more.
The sky is the limit.
I want
more. Sure. Yeah, more. So, and I'm glad you mentioned some of the partnerships that you're involved in, so people know that again, you are taking the opportunities that you've been presented with and the success that you've had and have parlayed them. I mean, you did a Saturday residency at the Sidecar Cocktail Lounge in Fayetteville. Mm-hmm. You're doing some Delta Dirt collaboration, or has that already been done?
So I'm one of their ambassadors.
Okay.
So when Delta Dirt is out here, at least for majority of the time, I'll give them 85%. I'm collaborating with them, activating different restaurants and establishments throughout the area. So shout out to Delta Dirt. We love them.
Tell people what Delta Dirt is.
Delta Dirt Distillery is the first Black-owned distillery out of West Helena, Arkansas.
Okay.
They make their products from sweet potatoes, and they have a vodka, they have a gin, they have what they call an Arkansas Brown, which is their sweet roots and their deep roots. They can't call it bourbon or whiskey, but they have the Arkansas Brown, and they are family-owned, farm-to-bottle spirit company.
Yep.
When I first saw them, I just like to support us.
Yeah.
Especially in industries where where we've been main contributors, but we've been undermined or marginalized.
Jack Daniels.
Okay.
I mean, so yeah, no, I understand. I understand.
Shout out to Uncle Nearest. I don't care what you say.
Right.
You know, it's something special about seeing people pursue what has always belonged to them.
Yeah.
And to have, you know, some sort of economic ownership is what I admire about what Delta Dirt is building. And so get you some Delta Dirt if you haven't yet, because it's good.
Yeah,
promise you.
We'll put a link in the show notes to that so people know where to find it. So the 6th annual festival is coming up. What quickly, if you had to distill it down to its bare essence, what is the vision for the 6th annual HerSetHerSound Festival this summer? At the time we're recording this in June of 2026, the festival will be in August of 2026. Yeah. What is the vision for this year's festival?
The vision for the HerSetHerSound Festival is to center and celebrate foremothers, daughters, and key contributors to worldwide music and well-being. We will have music and artists and vendors who are all contributing to worldwide music and health and well-being, and bringing a holistic energy to our music scene and to our music experiences. It's about that.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Did I hit that? Did I hit it?
You did. You hit it right.
I've been practicing.
You hit it right. And
Thank
then
you.
I want to talk about, I know from a community perspective, you regularly work with NWA Pride and obviously NWA Juneteenth, which is coming up. Why are those partnerships core to your mission?
Well, intersectionality is another value. It's recognizing that, yes, I'm a woman. Yes, I am Black. Yes, I am queer. And all of these things are a part of me. NWA Juneteenth, the committee, it's all about Juneteenth. It's about Black liberation.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, if it wasn't for Black bondage, then we wouldn't have worldwide music.
Sure.
And so it's important to work with committees like theirs, and even like NWA Pride. Both of these organizations have been throwing events for decades. I want to say NWA Equality has done NWA Pride 22 years. And then Juneteenth, this is their 30th year doing Juneteenth in Fayetteville. It's important to get behind the people who have blazed a trail for me to be able to do what I'm doing. And then, like I said, to recognize the intersectionalities and that we promote and we celebrate, we work with people who identify with both of these identities. Well, when I say both, with all of these identities, because Pride has 11 identities, and then you got Black people. Are you Southern? Are you from the Caribbean? Are you from,
the diaspora? It's multivariate.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I think it shows I think the word may be malleability. It shows that we're not in one box. One thing that kind of annoys me about HerSetHerSound, well, at least like what people think of, they're like, is it only for women?
Yeah.
Is it only for queer people?
Right.
I'm going to say it. Shout out to Anthony. You don't think that when you hear Smooth Man production.
Well, there's no such thing as like queer music, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not like that. I mean, there's nothing like that. Because when you hear the music, you're like, man, you hear music and it's like, okay, this makes me move. And it's like, you don't stop to think, well, what type of music is this? It's like, I don't know. The beat is just syncopated in my head where my body keeps moving and I have these reflexive actions that I can't control because it's just.
You better be able to control
it's just it. You know what I'm saying, though. But I mean, that is, that's just it, though. But we like to label everything.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of the way things are.
I just want people to know, just because it's about her doesn't mean that it's not for us.
No.
Like, it's about moving her sound forward, because why is her sound in the back?
No,
who put it there?
Yeah,
somebody did.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I think about, shout out to DJ Afrosia.
Yeah.
She's been, she's all over the place. I mean, she does stuff with the Black Expo, and then, she was down at the Governor's Cup in Little Rock and representing. And so, I always like to, just shows me that as these venues and as these opportunities have been created, it's creating a runway for people to take advantage of.
Absolutely. So, shout out to all the women DJs who are not just riding.
She just happens to be the one I know. That's why I mentioned her name. But I mean, there's others, obviously.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that there are opportunities out here for us, and we can either take advantage, we can advocate for it. 9 times out of 10, I mean, no disrespect to male DJs out there, but women in this society are taught to be more attentive.
Yeah.
We are taught to pick up on people's emotions, people's vibes.
Yeah.
Arguably, one could say that a woman is positioned very good, very well to read a room.
Sure.
So,
yeah, no.
I'm going to just leave it with that.
Okay. Yeah. No, I hear you. Well, there's a sister that I follow, and she's from South Africa. She's a DJ. I just can't think of her name right now.
About Uncle Waffles?
No. That's not her name, I don't think. This girl, she's on YouTube. She has a huge following on YouTube, but she is an amazing DJ, like amazing. So, and whenever I think about a DJ, I go back to DJ Red. I mean, I grew up outside of New York City, so DJ Red Alert, and that was the kind of stuff that I heard back in the day. But even back then, like you said, the first female DJ that I knew was DJ Spinderella.
Yes.
And I saw her DJ in New York City, and it was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, she's great. But I grew up with Salt and Pepper. So that was kind of like the thing where it was like, okay. But I mean, as soon as you see something like that, you're like, oh, well, if she can do it, there's somebody else that can do it.
And I'm glad you said that, Randy, because there's something about Black women doing things that really inspires everybody. It's like, oh my God, she's doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to try it too.
Right,
it's like, okay, are you trying this because you have a desire, or you just see someone doing what they do and you want to imitate, extract, whatever? Which, it's all about the expansion. But I think I hope that a theme that comes in this episode is thinking about credit.
Yeah.
And thinking about inheritance. And thinking about authenticity.
Sure.
And I think that what engages me, and I think, gives me a lot of passion and a lot of purpose, is knowing that I'm advocating for folks who've always been here.
Yeah.
I'm advocating for a narrative that's always been here. And I just hope that even if we change a couple perspectives, a handful, we want thousands and thousands of people at HerSetHerSound. We get a lot of impressions, but it's not always about having thousands of people show up. It's really about being a good steward and ensuring that when people do show up, that they feel like they can be themselves. Mm-hmm. They feel like they can dream, and that they don't have to be confined when they dream. So
I like that. Well, you're helping me wind this up really nicely. If you could wave a magic wand, what does the NWA music and nightlife scene look like 5 years from now?
In 5 years, HerSetHerSound has a couple venues in Northwest Arkansas. Magic wand.
Yes,
I'm the fairy godmother.
Yes.
I would like for HerSetHerSound's programming to expand beyond the clients and the organizations that we work with. I hope that there's more room and space for music professionals who look like me, not just music artists, music professionals who look like me, to shine, to succeed. I imagine with my magic wand that people are saying great things about the music scene in Northwest Arkansas. I imagine that they are looking forward to music programming instead of looking at Dallas or looking at Austin to see someone they really want. And then I hope, really, like I said, more HerSetHerSound placements and venues. But I do want to see more, not just women-owned, not just Black women-owned, but Black-owned venues that hold music programming and hold music experiences. I think I don't know why. I don't know why Magic City is coming to my mind. I don't know why, but hear me out. I watched the docuseries and I thought it was special because there is something about being in a space with people who know how to accommodate you.
Yes.
And it's not for play.
It's not
just in February.
And for the uninitiated that are listening to this, Magic City is a black strip club in South Atlanta. And unfortunately, no Magic City.
You said unfortunately?
I said, well, I mean, I know it.
Randy, don't say it's unfortunate. Stop.
No, listen. Okay. I've been to Magic City. Okay. Let's just call it what it is. I've been to Magic City. I actually went there. I was taken there by a former mayor of Atlanta.
See, get the mayor involved. That's how you know.
So it was quite an interesting situation, but you're absolutely right. It is the documentary is highly recommended.
Yeah.
And it sheds a different light.
Absolutely.
On that business and actually what Magic City represents in the African American community in Atlanta, which I thought was really interesting. So
my respect for strippers exceeded.
We've gone to a whole different place. But it's listen,
you got to think about it. If it's not for the strippers, the music doesn't move.
Yeah.
Atlanta's hip hop, Atlanta's music scene after Cameo, after funk and all of that.
Sure.
Hip hop. Yeah. Trap, which changed the world. The reason why we have K-pop. It's the reason why we have a Jack Harlow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when we think about places like that where the music moves, where the music thrives, and it's moving who it's meant to move, that's what contributes to the success of the industry and the experiences. Shout out to the mayor because the mayor's got to get behind this too. The mayor has to get behind.
Well, he wasn't a mayor at that time. He was in college with me. So,
it speaks to his palate.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was funny. All right, listen. I got 3 quick rapid fire questions for you about NWA.
Rapid fire. Okay,
favorite local spot to grab a bite after a gig?
Oh.
And that's hard.
What's open after 1 o'clock?
That's the issue. And that's the thing. That's the biggest complaint that my wife, a city girl, has about Northwest Arkansas is that everything closes too early.
I wouldn't say this is my favorite. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not being paid to say any of this. No. I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
Whataburger's always open.
Okay.
I love their hash browns. But also, I want to shout out Plomo's because Plomo's is typically open late.
Yep.
And Los Boba. You said 1. Rapid fire. Okay, I'll stop. But...
And KDK's Chicken and Waffles. I always like Keith Kidd.
They're open late now?
Oh, yeah. He's open. When the students are in school, he's down on Dixon on the weekends until 3 a.m.
3?
Yeah. And, they're about to open a new location right on College Avenue.
I have seen that.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for him.
You made me think about Tori and Nessa, too.
Okay.
Have you had them yet?
Yes. Very good. Very good. Very good.
A lot of times, nowadays, I'm out in Bentonville a lot. If I was out in Fayetteville...
Northwest Arkansas has got its spots. They definitely does. That's for sure. And it's only going to get better.
Yes.
It's only going to get better. Okay, yes. Second question. Favorite outdoor spot in Northwest Arkansas to recharge? It's a good one, right?
It's a good one. Outdoor spot to recharge. I do love the trails.
Okay. I do too. I'm on them every day.
Yeah.
Like literally every day.
I walk through my madness. So the trails have always been good to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then finally, a local business or creative other than your own that we should be paying attention to.
I want to shout out Kiki at Cousins. Kiki has a lounge in Bentonville and she is creating an atmosphere for people to walk in and come out as family, come out as cousins. I love her spot. It's big. It's got a lot of potential for incredible music experiences, but also for just any type of event. So Kiki at Cousins, if you haven't been there, and she's got some good food too.
Okay.
Kiki Cousins, I would say.
It's legit.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I like that. All right. Where can listeners follow the movement, find upcoming events, and support the platform?
Love this, Randy. You can follow us at HerSetHerSound on all platforms. You can also visit our website, HerSetHerSound.com. And if you do /events, you'll get all of our events and all of the bookings that we have. If you do /festivals, there's more information about our festival and you can buy your tickets there. So, yeah.
Listen,
HerSetHerSound.
There you go. And we'll put all that in the show notes. As you guys all know, you can just go to IamNorthwestArkansas.com and get all of the information. You can find the transcript there for this episode and all of the other accoutrements that go with this podcast episode. Robyn Jordan, thank you so much for joining us today. We really, really appreciate it. You kind of laid out some things and you dropped some knowledge here. And it's very rare that, I'll leave you with this. Sylvia Robinson was actually a neighbor of mine.
Stop.
Her boys and I grew up together. Sugar Hill, because I thought you were going to ask me what was my most memorable song. My first most memorable song. It's okay. It's okay. No, it's okay. Was Shaft. I listened to it in my aunt's basement in Washington, D.C. when I was a little kid. So when Shaft came out, I think it was 74, 75, that was my song, Isaac Hayes' Shaft. And I can hear that song in my head all day long. Yeah. And that was the first song that was really impressionable to me. My next favorite one was when I was 9 years old and Rapper's Delight came out.
You were 9?
And it changed everything for me.
Shout out to you.
Yeah. It
for being alive.
Yes. I was alive in there. And it was even a bigger deal because that was Sylvia Robinson's label.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean, so that's why.
Chill.
Yeah, I know, right? That's how I feel about it. I'm just like, man. So yes, but it's all good. But thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the podcast. This was long overdue, but really enjoyed. So thank you so much, Robyn Jordan. HerSetHerSound. Folks, support this woman. She's doing amazing things. And if you are out there and you see her in Northwest Arkansas, just give her a pound and say, hey, what do you need? So
come on, Randy. Tell me Randy sent you.
That's it.
Randy's the one, not the two.
Tell him that I sent you and that you heard about it first here at I Am Northwest Arkansas. That's all we have for you this week. We'll be back really soon with another brand new episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, covering the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life right here in the Ozarks. I'm Randy Wilburn, and I'll see you soon. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. Check us out each and every week, available anywhere that great podcasts can be found. For show notes or more information on becoming a guest, visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. We'll see you next week on I Am Northwest Arkansas.
Searching for local businesses in Northwest Arkansas just got easier. From restaurants to roofers, boutiques to baristas, FindItNWA.com connects you to the best local businesses with just one click. Discover something local, something great. Visit FindItNWA.com today. Find it fast, find it local, FindItNWA.com.